Okay, recording this video Sunday 2nd of March 2014. It is 1 PM Chicago time, few hours for the Sunday evening open of the E-mini. Everybody's looking to find out what the hell the market's going to do. And an extraordinary, exciting kind of 48 hours that have kind of gone on. I'm all coffeed up, ready to talk through the global macro charts, but first of all, just to say, look, this thing punched up through 1856, kind of ran to new highs and so on. I was not going to die in a ditch on Friday just because I didn't like the move. It's like when it happens, you jump on board, swallow your pride, you make some money, you get out and you say, huh, it happened. So here's the move. It was a triple break. It was beautiful. It was fast. You know, when we ran all of those stops, the thing just, just exploded out of the gate. So 45, 1500, 500 tip bar charts, there's the resistance at 1854 here on the 4500 tip bar chart, exactly the same level on the 1500, and there was kind of printed on the 500. Blue professional bar through resistance, that's jumping the creek, getting this thing going. And as soon as we hit the 56 levels, all those stops got ran, bang, it was explosive. I got on board at 53.50 and just rode it up, took out 4, re-entered again at 57.75 for another 2. I don't care which way it goes, I don't like it. I'm an uber bear out there, I admit that, but if it goes against me, then that's fine by me. This thing ran, we kind of initially ran out of steam, pulled back to end of trend with a lot of selling, kind of taking profits up here, but the move didn't top out till we had another little pullback to end of trend, all these bearish divergence patterns kind of going on here, and then that was the Crimea. The Russians just walked into the Crimea, and that was the sell-off pullback to end of trend, and a rocket all the way back up, 2/3, three-quarters of the move all the way back up. I wasn't trading any of that. I was all done for the day, but like I said, if it kind of breaks, in opposite direction to where you think it ought to go, or where you'd like it to go, don't die in a ditch. I'm not going to die in a ditch. Anyway, there we go. That's the E-mini. Let's roll through the global macro charts. In my mind, they're all kind of playing out to plan. Be really interesting to see which way the market kind of breaks on Sunday evening into Monday. I don't know, sometimes war is bullish for the market, so it's not necessarily bearish. I know we kind of sold off really hard on Friday. I'm not going to call that. I don't know. So let's see what it does opening on Sunday evening into Monday. But rolling through the charts, the yen finally running out the clock. We put in our pullback to end of trend sequence on the daily chart here. So we had this short covering rally. That's the explosive volume that we had there. And we've just done nothing ever since that kind of move, running those stops, short covering rally. So the end of trend is now in on the daily chart, and we had a strong bar on Friday. Pullback end of trend, second cyclical turn after end of trend on the weekly chart in the yen and so on. I mean, I think we're in terms of a bottom in terms of yen. And if you look at commitment of traders, starting to get a little bit more positive. I think all the hedge funds are super short on this thing, which is fair enough. But I think we could actually have a little rally back now. So I think that's things in place for starting to look for breaks on the upside on the yen. And the first really kind of trend break is once we put in a resistance and break back above that resistance. That's kind of a strong signal. So let's wait and see. But it did signal end of trend there. You can just see it there. There we go, on Friday's move. So euro, wow, what a strong move on Friday through euro. So the euro's kind of joining along with the pound. And these blue professional down bars, they've held, bang, we punched above resistance here. Initially we had a couple of Rambo patterns, lost a little bit of juice, but bang, we've kind of broken to a high above that little congestion zone there. We're getting going. This thing is going, and it's not going to be over until we see exhaustion on the weekly chart. So the euro's moving up, and you can see I was saying the other week that it was still a little bit negative in terms of commitment of traders, and now it's kind of on the zero line. So I'm expecting we've got these bullish divergence patterns on the weekly and the monthly charts kind of in. We've got this little kind of wedging pattern kind of happening here. So breaking up, 140 is the next kind of psychological level to kind of get through there. And the British pound keep on going up. We're at just under 68s at the moment. This thing's, I know we've had pullback end of trend, some exhaustion patterns here. This one's right on the zero line, so at least we've got to wait for a flush on that. But we're playing this thing out. It's weekly trend break. This has got to go pullback to end of trend. We've got to see an exhaustion pattern on our left shoulder as we go up through this move. So I've been saying this now. It's March now. I've been saying this back since, I don't know, October. So the pound continues to kind of break up to new highs, and positive in terms of what the professionals, we've got professional support on this thing kind of going on. So after we had these nice bullish divergence patterns on the monthly charts down at 150, bang, we're just cracking up. Aussie, I mean, the Aussie is strengthening a little bit, but the commitment of traders is not kind of supporting a real strong break in the Aussie. So this was a nice little pullback to end of trend that we kind of bounced off down here at the lows, but we haven't seen professional blue bars on the weekly charts. I've been saying this for weeks and weeks and weeks. We'll have a little bit of strength potentially, but I don't think it's going to go a great deal because, look, professionals, commitment of traders, they're not supporting this kind of move. It's still super negative on this one. Unlike Japanese yen, Japanese yen, they started to take off those kind of positions reserved, their positions kind of get a little bit more neutral. Aussie dollar, they've not really done that. And the same with Canadian. We're running pullback to end of trend at some point during this next week or so. We are kind of bouncing back up. That was a strong bar on Friday. But again, in terms of professional support here on the weekly chart, Canadian dollars, commitment of traders, it's not there yet. It's not really kind of reversed around. Compare that with the yen. They're starting to change their tune on the yen, but not on the Aussie or the Canadian. So dollar index. Now this is bloody annoying. Look at this TradeStation commitment of traders numbers. I kind of go to refresh my charts on commitment of traders, and all the back history's kind of gone. What are you doing to me, TradeStation? Come on, fix this. Anyway, it's still positive 13. I was talking about this, the last couple of weekends with the global macro charts. It's not supporting a sell-off, in the dollar index. We're below supports on the daily charts. We're in a downtrend. We finished really weak. It was blue professional down bar. If they sell this down, we continue to kind of sell down here. And we're sitting on a little bit of a ledge. This kind of 79.5 level is kind of really key. We got resistance in on the weekly chart. So all of that's not looking healthy. We're closing on the lows. If we get continuation Monday, Tuesday, it's going to get ugly as it kind of gets through 79.5. But I'd wish the commitment of traders numbers was at least towards the zero line. But looking at that, it's still kind of not really supportive of a complete breakdown at the moment. But I wish we had some. We did last weekend. I mean the history was there. What the hell? Where's it gone now? Maybe your charts are different on TradeStation. Maybe I need to refresh my cache. So not sure. So all of those things, kind of positive for all of those currencies and negative for the dollar index. And gold, which is the reciprocal of USD, has continued to strengthen. We had a couple of days of weakness, and everybody kind of shouted about, this, how people had kind of sold down gold, blah blah blah. This thing's on its way. Broken above resistance. Yeah, we got exhaustion on a left shoulder here, but that's just on a daily time frame. On a weekly time frame, we put in 1200. We're breaking back up. We've got to see exhaustion on a left shoulder on the weekly chart before this trend moves over. So all it is a little bit of a retrace. And look at this. We're back up. The professionals are supporting this move in terms of gold. Same thing with silver. I mean, that was an ugly day on, what was that, Wednesday. But we're back into the zone. This is the zone where the professionals kind of bought it up. So, they're going to be anxious to kind of pick it up here and just using any kind of news in order to, get it down into a zone where they can pick more up. Again, not going to be over till we see exhaustion on the weekly chart in the left shoulder. We're heading up on this. This is breaking up. And again, look at the commitment of traders supporting that breakout trend break into an uptrend on silver. So silver and gold, the reciprocal of dollar index kind of going well. And we'll get the crude chart as well, because crude's kind of a proxy as well, reciprocal of USD. This is Emini. So we're at this kind of cyclical resistance kind of area here. And it's not good. I'm pretty sure, these things have recalculated. So negative 11. 10.855. So, not supporting this breakout. We got a fundamental difference of opinion here with the way commitment of traders is kind of positioned and direction that's kind of going in versus what the market is doing. So, it's getting very, very interesting here. Bonds. So bonds continue to crack up. We've got blue professional bars now up at these highs on the weekly chart. This bounced off amateur down bars, so the amateurs were getting short on the bonds, and so we kind of retraced here and bounced off there. We've got cyclical resistance kind of due on the bonds at some point. We're making pullback to end of trend. We've got an exhaustion pattern here on kind of a left shoulder, but commitment of traders is now supporting this kind of breakout. It's kind of come off in the last couple of weeks, but seemed to think, we'd have a safety player rush into bonds. This is, out of equities and into bonds, but it's just we've had two blue professional bars, not really kind of breaking to new highs at the moment. Let's see, with some, I don't know how to describe it, what the adjective is, because what's happening in the Crimea and the Ukraine is not good. There's a lot of people that are going to be badly affected by this. But if the news goes in the bad direction in terms of people kind of rush into bonds, this will break to kind of new highs. But I'm just looking at those two blue professional bars and thinking we've got cyclical resistance due. I wonder. And then this has kind of come off a little bit. The 10 years kind of supporting it a little bit. It's also kind of turned around. But we've got the same type of pattern. Blue professional bars kind of come in at a previous high. Cyclical resistance kind of due. Pullback. We got exhaustion patterns on the left shoulder. And it's going a little bit more positive. It's kind of going in the direction of a breakout. But we'll wait and see. I would have thought it's going to continue up. And it's like, you'd have thought there'd be a safety play, particularly with the global political news. You'd have thought it would kind of run into bonds, but I'm just looking at that thinking, let's see. We need to get above this kind of congestion zone and out into new highs here. And there we go. 10 years commitment of trade is also kind of going in the right direction to support a breakout in bonds. This is crude. Crude's fascinating at the moment. So we've broken into a new trend. We're above 100 now. We just had a little bit of weakness with Rambo patterns up here. We've got no blue professional bars on the weekly charts, kind of taking profits. We pull back to dirty end of trend flush patterns, breaking into an uptrend here. Bang, bang, bang. But this is the chart that's fascinating. Commitment of traders. Look at this. The way it's just changed in the last 3 to 4 years. This is exactly what happened. I'm a broken record, I know. But this is exactly what happened in gold and silver in 2001, I think, when they kind of bottomed out. And all of a sudden they were just persistently looking like this on commitment of traders. And then we had that just huge flow into gold and silver for 10 years or whatever it was. And it's just winding up. $100, is kind of the key level. Is it going to break and we'll never see 100 again? Kind of thing. So I just look at that and think that's really interesting. And it's kind of crude is a hedge against the USD, and we're breaking into an uptrend and no blue professional bars to take profits at these highs. So that's an interesting kind of play at the moment. Copper, not really supporting it. Copper's more kind of global growth and manufacturing growth, and copper's kind of a little bit weak, not really kind of getting going, couldn't get through resistance to break into an uptrend, kind of settling around these levels. We've got this cyclical support in, potentially could fall through there. And here's commitment of traders, it's kind of negative, it's not really kind of joining along really here, so I don't think copper's kind of going for a big blast move. Unlike crude's kind of interesting and it's winding up for something. So there we go, that's kind of an overview of global macro charts. There really no change in the last 3 or 4 weeks in terms of directionally what I think is kind of going on. So we've got all of those kind of good things starting to set up in terms of global macro trends, and of course now the news is fascinating. And so how this thing plays out, we got two very strong personalities, Obama with Kerry versus Putin, kind of locking horns head to head on this thing. And someone's going to lose face over this. I don't think there's who knows what the middle ground is. I don't know. No point kind of calling it. But just fascinating to kind of watch. We'll have the Sunday evening open and see what everybody thinks ought to happen. It's going to be exciting the next couple of days. But a lot of it's going to be news driven, I've thought. But let's see. Interesting times. I hope your trading's going well. I hope you're enjoying the weekend. And good luck with trading next week.